Ezekiel 30. So God expresses how Egypt will pretty much fall as a nation of power. So it says grief here. The translator did that, and I guess woe. Maybe like it's a lamentation more. Maybe it's a sign of grief. I'm not sure how it is there, but pretty much, her Egypt's foundation will be torn out. Those who support Egypt will fall, and then there will be a fire in Egypt, and then so God will allow Nebuchadnezzar to take over Egypt. And like from yesterday, it said that he will get the spoils of Egypt because he helped bring down Tyre. And then Nebuchadnezzar is actually referred to as, he and his people with him are the most ruthless of all the nations at that time. And then when I read about the Nile canals dry, it remind me of the picture of the or the great monster that lived in the canal that was referred to as Egypt, or as King of Pharaoh yesterday, where he is in control of Egypt, but now when God said he's gonna make it, like he's gonna fish the king out, or fish Egypt out, like the great monster out. I imagine like a hook being fished out, but instead in here it actually is being described as the canal. God, instead of fishing the great monster out with a hook, he's actually gonna make the canals dry, and so the land desolate, and that's how he's like fishing that great monster Egypt out, and then let it die pretty much. And then there will no longer be a prince in Egypt, and there's fire. There will be judgment, elimination, so on and so forth, captivity. And then he will then execute judgment on Egypt, and then they will know that God is the Lord. And then, so in the 11th year, the first month at this time, God said to Ezekiel that he have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. So pretty much the military power that Egypt has is gonna be, it's no more. And then he will scatter the Egyptian among the nations, and strengthen the power of the king of Babylon, the arm, so the military power. But Pharaoh will fall. Then they will know that God is the Lord, and that he has put his sword into the hand of the king of Babylon. Then he will scatter the Egyptian. When he scatter the Egyptian, then they will know that he is the Lord. And this is what is said. And then one more interesting thing is that it talks about how right here that woe for the day, indeed the day of the Lord is near. And in the Bible, when we read about the day of the Lord, I think of the last day, the last judgment. But now when I read this and I see the day of the Lord, I think about how it might not be just the final judgment, but there are periods of judgment in history, and this is one of the day designated for judgment. So it might not be like the end judgment, but a day of judgment according to God, the day that he appointed, that he will no longer tolerate it and he will judge. So this chapter 30 is referring to the judgment of the Egyptian, but we do know that there will be a final judgment coming, and that is also described as the day of the Lord. So that's just something that stood out to me. And then when I read the study Bible, it's there also. And then in the study Bible, yeah, so that's pretty much it.